thanks all. We are back for the building project for search and rescue, 4-H extension, weed mosquito, open bids decision. So a lot of you know this. John, who is your escort today?
Who is my escort?
Yeah, you need an
Who is
escort.
yours?
You need an escort to be here, John.
Who is your escort?
Okay, we are gonna go ahead and hold this meeting until
I'll escort him.
we have a elected official for Broadwater County to escort
Mr.
Mr.
Franklin,
If he's gonna take responsibility for you and follow the policy,
Well, that's okay.
okay, you'll
John,
need to escort him out when it's time.
you toe the line, don't go out first or anything, and I'll go along.
I asked a real good prominent question. Who is her escort?
All right, so the process with bids is, we advertise for a period of time as defined by MCA. What we will do is open those in full view of the public, and then we will give them to the county engineer, who will work with whoever the department head is, maintenance at this point, to review them, and then we'll come back together and make a decision next week. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. We have 7 bids. The first one, I'll wait till we get it open and give you the information. The first one is from,
Why we took on the back page of the bid form where they signed it?
CS Structures, Inc., from Gallatin County. And you guys will check for Davis-Bacon and completeness.
Just,
And the total of all unit price bid items is $770,000. I'm gonna write that down too. Okay, the second one, this is from Spring Corporation, from Bozeman, Montana, in case anybody is unsure where Bozeman's at. And the total of all unit price bid items, $715,715. The next one is from Outback Construction from Missoula, Montana. And this one is $724,127. This one is from R&R Taylor Construction from Bozeman, Montana. And this one is for $631,750. $978. Mm-hmm. This one is from Diamond Construction from Helena. And this total is $671,000. This one is from Wadsworth Builders Company from Great Falls. And this one is for $671,977. And the last one is from Golden Eagle Construction in Helena. And their total is $675,300. All right.
Thank you.
You bet. Any questions so far on the bids or the process? John?
I have a question. There's a tremendous amount of difference between highs and lows. Is there any confusion about what they're bidding? Or they're all exactly got the exact same things and they're all the same qualification, the same bonding, the same history of good, bad, or ugly service? As you well know, I was a contractor for a long time myself, and this is very prominent to know, because that's what we end up with. One is finally made, and will it take all three commissioners, or can one or two do it?
The process will be that the experts in the field, the county engineer, will review for completeness and then bring forward a recommendation. And
In the project manual, it was stated as lowest responsible bid, not just lowest bid. So
Right.
we'll review part of the bid submission was qualifications as well.
I
So
understand that.
we'll review the cost plus qualifications. And then we'll provide a recommendation to the county commission.
Yeah, because the history of the contractor versus the one selected is probably is most important to the whole thing, as long as they're adequately bonded and they're adequately licensed.
And that's part of our review. We'll make sure they've got their bond and everything like that. If they don't, then they're disqualified, so.
Okay, and this will be presented to us citizens, as taxpayer citizens, for, we can look at it before it's decided on?
That's up to the commission.
Is that
I
correct?
don't
We'll
know how
provide-
it works.
We'll provide information to the commission probably by the end of the week, but I think you're planning on bringing that to a commission meeting next week, right? Next
Yes.
Wednesday?
Yeah,
So it'll be part of a public process. It'll be just like this,
Mhm.
part of the commission meeting.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yep.
It's deals in the sunshine, they say.
Absolutely.
And I come from a state that the sunshine didn't shine all the time like it's supposed to, and that's
Sure.
Florida,
Sure.
Palm Beach County. That's the reason I'm here.
But all the bidders did, it was design, bid, build. So they designed what we wanted, so everyone had the level playing field. It was a
Same
design.
data.
Yep.
Right.
So to answer that part of your question, yes,
Yeah.
everyone had the same information.
Yeah, the only way professionally to do it is to follow through with all the procedures.
Any other questions, observations? Billy?
How do you guys plan on paying for this now that this is quite a bit more than you expected from before? And
That's something we have to go to the table about.
you guys don't have nothing, I mean, been planning this process for 4 years and nothing's been saved up, nothing's been budgeted.
Well, there's money that we can go to, but I think we're looking at the responsible bill to see exactly where we're at financially, where we need to be. So there's money that we can go to, but we need to, see what bid we have to see exactly what kind of money we're looking at.
We know what the money is, so how are you gonna go about doing this now?
We haven't even selected a bid yet, Billy, so I think what we need to do is step one, and then we'll address step two. We did have a financial package. It's gonna have to change, perhaps, so we're gonna have to see where we're at, but we can't put any carts before any horses at this point. So right now, we have the bids, we'll follow the process, and I will continue as everything has been to be done here in public.
Well, if you can't pay for it,
Did
then
we
how
say,
can you follow the process?
We
I
didn't
mean,
say we
so
couldn't
you guys
pay
got
for it.
something to plan, you guys just don't wanna say it out loud, that's what it seems like.
It's either you got the money or you gotta charge it.
any-
400,000 was borrowed,
Yeah,
No, it was not borrowed. We had a loan. We did not borrow the funds.
But
we
you've been
had a
using it.
loan At 1.25%.
but you guys have that,
Over 10
400,000, and you
years.
gotta come up with another 200 some roughly?
Correct.
If we go that way, yeah. We'll see. So.
They'll have to
anything else?
decide the
Yes,
award
I-
the project first, and then they can
Right.
decide,
Well, if you
how
want
they're
the
gonna.
money, then you can't do it, so why even go that way? I mean, that's why I'm
Well,
prouding about this, because I wanna know,
we still have to review the
and I'm
bids.
sure everybody else wants to know too.
Laura, I have another question.
All right, John, what's your
In the
question?
planning of this thing, is all of the surveying and soil sample and ground tensions all been secured and properly affidated and brought up to date and available to us citizens?
Yes, everything is available, everything is public. We do have a.
And these have all been
cemetery.
completed?
Mhm.
Because as we well know, that at one time, that part of this ground was used for the ancient sewer system. And that creates some problems even down in the depths when you try to build on it.
I don't believe that's the case, is it, Jeremy?
No.
No, okay.
Isn't?
No, we've dug numerous test pits on the site, and there's no issues with.
Okay, that's great.
No.
All
No
right.
survey problems.
Right.
There was a scuttle piece at the one building down there that the county was gonna buy, the old tractor place, that part of their sewer systems on the county's property.
No, no,
Not true?
No.
Scuttle.
yeah, yep. All right, anything else? Mike?
Mike Delter, did you have a preset budget for this thing, or this is what your budget's gonna be set on?
basically.
I
You
mean,
know-
do you have a target number when you, for this, or?
Well,
I'll
so,
let these guys go
yeah.
with that.
so what happened, because the previous plan was to go as a owner representative. And the 400,000 covered that plan, that was the budget for that. When I came on board here, it was decided to go with a design bid build because I felt that was the proper way to go. And so Commissioner Slivka agreed the design bid build, so everyone had a level playing field. After talking to several local contractors, it was said that we could make that 400,000 work. So we were so counting on the local contractors to come forward and ante up to what they were saying. But as you can see, not a single local contractor bid this process. So now we're stuck with out-of-town bids at almost 200,000 more than what local contractors said they could do this process. So now, we sort of have to take a step back and look at that. But the project was intended to be that 400,000 that we have. So, but no local contractor wanted to bid this, so now we're taking a step backwards. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Well, the good question was already asked. Where does this other 260,000 come from?
There was in the first process, we had the department heads sat down, and this is previous, when we had the owner representative, departments that were moving into this building and had stake in this building, had a payment plan to come up with some of the money, to repay the money. So that was part of the plan, but like I just said, we're gonna have to take a step backwards now and take a look to see where we can come up with another $200,000 or $300,000.
260,000.
Yeah.
And I would say that regardless of how we move forward, the departments involved have got to have buy-in. If you don't have departments having buy-in, what you will have is every week a new department head coming forward wanting more than we can afford, more than they can afford. The buy-in from the department heads from day one has kept our team focused on doing things fiscally responsibly, meeting needs, not just wants. It's kept us being extremely responsible on this. So I think it's just good management to make sure that regardless, we have department buy-in.
Well, maybe I can't see, because I can't see anyway. You say these department heads have funds available. Where did these funds come from?
It would be coming from within their budget.
It's already in the budget?
Yes.
And has been for a couple of years now.
That's what wasn't clear.
All right, anything else? Okay. Jeremy, I'm gonna give these to you. Mike had a propane issue that he was gonna be here if it wasn't for the propane issue, so he should be,
I'll review them, I'll get with Wayne.
okay?
I've got a checklist and a spreadsheet and everything for doing all this, so I'll go through them first, and then I'll talk to Mike midweek, and we'll put together a recommendation
Okay.
for the commission.
I do have one question on those. I was able to talk to Line Plant,
Mhm.
and they just need, I didn't have an email, so I didn't forward them anything, but I talked to them about the rock and stuff that might be needed. Do those bids include all that stuff, or is that something we still want to look into?
These bids do not include the rock.
Okay.
I instructed, by addendum, I instructed everybody that the county was going to supply the rock for,
Okay.
discussions with you and Mike and stuff, so the county is providing that.
Okay, so I'll
So
get that
if
information.
that doesn't work out, when you move forward with the project, we'd have to do a change order or something for that.
Sure,
But that's what the contractors were told.
okay. And they sounded like it was something that we could definitely work with them on, so they just.
And I sent you an
Yes.
email on what we need.
Yep,
Okay.
so I will just take that to the powers up there at the
Okay.
Line Plant, Greymont.
Okay. And then the only other thing was, depending on what you do is the propane tank. The county will have to get the propane tank ordered, from the propane company and have that delivered, and then the contractor will hook it up. So
Okay.
that's the only part of the other piece of that was, that the contractor can't purchase the propane tank separately, because the county's gonna own it,
Sure.
or lease it, however the county decides to do that, so. That's something, if the project moves forward, we'll have to discuss if you wanna lease or purchase, or how you wanna do the propane tanks.
One thing for schedule, making a decision, I may not be here next Monday, so I'm wondering if we can do this on Wednesday the 9th, which is
Yes.
another
Cool.
commission meeting day.
Yep,
That works for you?
yeah, I believe we're good to go.
And if I get my recommendation to you guys, are you guys good to, cause I'm on vacation next week, so,
Well, good for you.
so,
Yeah. If you could put it in an email, that would be great.
I'll
or-
probably put together like a memo or some
Perfect.
kind of complete recommendation with our sheets and stuff, you know, checking everything off, you know, like it's supposed to be, and then, we'll provide that all to you by the end of the week,
Perfect.
so, and Mike, so.
Yes, we can do
That'd
the
be
ninth.
good. Okay, we'll just start at 10 and call it like a Monday.
Should be what time?
9,
Um,
10? I don't care.
yeah,
And if you
what
need-
was we- oh, you have to be here.
If you do need somebody here, Sean, I can talk to Sean and see if he can make it, if you need one of us here,
Okay,
so.
all right, we can follow up with you guys and let you know.
I'll touch base with you guys towards the end of the week, and
So we're at 1 o'clock then.
once we have a recommendation, it's, I'll touch base with you guys.
1 o'clock.
Our meetings usually start at 10, so since we're gonna be just doing a Wednesday instead of a Monday, how about we do our regular 10 o'clock and fill everything in?
Okay.
We'll have Dana at 10:30 and then discuss this, make this decision at 11. I'll see if Michelle's available at 9
Okay.
instead of the 7th, and then 1:30, see if Corey's available for his standing appointment and go from there.
So instead of the 7th, we'll have a meeting on the 9th.
Yeah,
Okay.
that works? Okay.
Yep.
All right,
You said 2 hours actually. Which one's
okay,
your-
so,
I do.
yes. Mr. Wright.
Chris Wright, my recollection, this is in the summer, and if I'm ripping open some swears, I wasn't here for all the meetings, but I did try to watch it on YouTube. My recollection is that the total for what we had before was 435. in that area. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, but that didn't include the finishes on the inside.
No, it did.
No, it didn't include the finishes, the sheet rock and all that stuff on the inside, if I recall.
I think Mike was going to.
I know he was gonna do it, but it wasn't included in the 435.
Okay, we'll double check on that.
I'm pretty sure.
You could be right.
And another concern that was voiced in the summer was that the plans weren't as specific. Now that the plans clearly have been specific, is it possible to go back and take a look at bidding the pieces? I mean, I don't work with contractors before. It seems to be that everybody's gasping at the price, and probably part of the price is gonna be the contract. And if we have somebody, you know, just to revisit that a little bit, just in the interest of fiduciary responsibility.
Sure.
To knock off 100, you can knock off 100 grand. I mean, if it was 435, and it costs 100 grand to finish the inside of the building as it was proposed last year, which nobody has ever suggested it would be anywhere near that much to finish the inside, you'd still be at $100,000 less than the numbers that you pulled out today.
Right.
So, just a thought. I don't know that you can go, but now that the bidding process, whether or not you have to turn all these down before you can have to go to, you know.
And I think that's what we would have to do, is start all over again.
Yeah, I'm not sure what, but it just seems like in the interest of saving 100 grand, or at least this might be something else.
To just make the waters a little bit more money, I don't think we've ever turned down our last group of bidders. At least I haven't been made aware of anything.
I'm not sure that their bid was the same specs that you just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they were nowhere close.
That's exactly, that's what, so I'm just saying, given, you
No,
know,
I'm just saying, we didn't cancel those before moving ahead.
yeah, but
with
they weren't
others.
bid on the same thing that these 7 bids were, the same project. You know what I mean?
Oh,
The
you-
concept was, but I think these are much more specific. If I'm
Well,
not-
these are very.
Well, that's what I thought, and that was what part of the problem, we didn't have the specific before. Now we have the specific, is it possible as a taxpayer to go back and take a look at maybe having somebody do it in pieces, because, like I said, I have experience in doing that in our own company back east. And the liability issues, I think, we're not, I just think to save 100 grand. Not that all those contractors are really wonderful people.
Well, it's the plan.
An extra 100 grand is an extra 100 grand.
Oh,
Keep calling-
that was the whole point of this.
Yes, and the suspicion was, and a lot of people, especially contractors, who said, well, it's gonna cost more if you get a contractor to do it, let's do it if you don't do it pieces.
Right.
And now we've seen that that's true, that it just went bang, $200,000 on the low end. I mean, so I'm just saying that So that theory that of having a contractor do the whole thing and under one umbrella might cost more, just seems like that to me. So, and from the actions of the contractors that run like that, I don't usually get this much to send anyway. I'm gonna come here more often, I don't get that at home. So anyway, but that's just something that I think that even though it would maybe bring up some issues that weren't even settled, it seems like some things are settled. That the scope of the work, and speak of the devil, and the devil doesn't appear to speak, the scope of the work has been established, and so that anybody's, that now really would be an apples to apples comparison.
Right.
I mean, so that's just the thought.
Yeah, and honestly,
Of course, that's still across the county number.
I second that, Tom. I think it'd be a good deal if we got a piece bid now
I'm glad you brought that on. I didn't-
for the whole work, not do
I thought-
contractors.
Okay, good, thank you.
See if we can save more.
I just, I'm for saving money, and that was what we were trying to accomplish. And I knew it was gonna cost more going this route, but the nice thing about this is all these 7 bids are on the same level playing field. We know exactly what kind of building it is, we know exactly what kind of finishes we want, we know all those questions that when we started this 6 months ago, or I started this 6 months ago, you guys started 4 years ago, we're all in the same playing field. And knowing, but again, then I talked to several builders and they swore up and down that they could have done it for
Right.
400,000. It's just frustrating to me to.
No, I applaud your efforts in getting the project scope nailed down. That's really, really important. But it seems like we have at least 100,000 good reasons. You know what I mean? And as opposed to the project, you know, you hear that price, you're like, oh, back off, and now what, more years? If there's a need for the building, and I'm
Which
not
there
an
is.
expert on that, okay, if there is, then, and moving it forward. And I don't know, you're caught up in a process now where you have to do certain things because you put it out there, and these people spend time and money. You don't want a lawsuit because it's you know, you didn't, I spent, you know, $20,000 putting a bid together, and I want you to pay for it now because you didn't respect the bids. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But at the same time, you know, there's the fiduciary responsibility, and since we do, you know, then getting bids on pieces of it might be easier this time.
Sure.
And now that the objection of what are we building is gone, it seems like everybody has an interest in saving money as much as possible. So,
And deep down inside, I knew today was gonna go this way. I was just optimistic, to be honest with you.
well, then somebody was gonna say 427,000?
I was hoping that a local
Yeah.
contractor was gonna come through for us.
And I believe these bids are all lower than our engineer's estimate.
Oh, yeah,
which is-
they are.
Which is good. I think we were figuring $120 a square foot, and they're less than that, so that's a positive thing, but it still is quite a bit more
Yeah.
than what we originally thought.
Can I
Yes,
ask a question?
absolutely.
Are the bids, the width, and I didn't look at the bids because I'm not a contractor and have no width, but is it broken down enough, is it broken down in pieces, or do they just give you a total? Like the electric, the concrete, was it broken, did you force them to break it down into pieces like that, or not?
We didn't break down the building. The
Okay.
building was one lump sum.
All right, got it.
And the site work stuff was broke out, so the
Okay.
well was separate, the wastewater system was separate, and then the site work was separate.
Okay.
So it slightly broke out, but no, we didn't.
Not to the extent that on the bids that we got before where there was electric and
No.
concrete and the shell and all that, nothing like that.
No.
No.
In other words, what you're saying, there's no subheadings on the estimate, that it's just a blanket amount?
I don't know.
For the building, it's just a lump sum bid.
That's like a mousetrap.
Right.
A contractor a legitimate contractor would never bid anything like that because it makes them liable too. Because if they overspend and they don't do it, are liable themselves.
That's the point.
Yeah.
They're stuck with that bid.
But you know what it takes
That
to
building.
sue a contractor with millions of dollars worth of insurance? I'll tell you what, you'll be old and gray before you get done.
We've done lots of projects this way, and they've all turned out fine, so.
Well, but
Chris.
the bad one is what you're always looking for.
Okay, Chris, right.
I know it would take time to to parse it out and to separate it out and to get bids and all that stuff, but that's we did our own we were our own contractor back east, that's what we did. I mean, that's what my brother paid me to do, was to sit down and go through all the specific boring details ad nauseum to make sure that the deal was the right deal. And if we have somebody on staff at here, along with the input that comes from having open meetings about it, and the benefit of all the people that here that are contractors, it seems like if that's all we have to do to save that kind of money. But again, you know, having respect for the bid process that you're currently committed to, but just, I would love to see us take another look at that. That's just me.
There's two.
Thank you. Mike, Jeremy has all the bids, so if you have any questions, I'd be happy to give you an overview. If you want to just get that from Jeremy, it's totally up to you two guys, both you and Eric. Okay. All right, Mike.
You're saying that Graymont's gonna supply this limestone?
I've talked to them,
So if they supply it, do we have a figure for what department's gonna haul it? What department's gonna be in charge of compacting it? And who's responsible for that? And where's the anticipated cost for that above and beyond the price of the building?
The county is supplying the gravel and trucking it to the site. The
Okay, but what
contractor.
I'm saying is, what is the expense to the county to move that from up there to down here and make sure you get the right compaction?
I
You're
can,
just
I
gonna
can,
let-
I can address compaction. The contractor is responsible for spreading and compacting the material. So us as the engineer would be responsible for making sure that that occurs. The county is only obtaining the material and having it trucked to the site and stockpiled.
And I've talked with Dana, and because they're already trained in hauling, he said that they could probably haul that down for us.
At what cost?
The cost is extremely minimal because they're already on payroll. It's like when Brian, or Mike was going to oversee the project, he's already on payroll, so it doesn't cost us anything more. It's already
The
there.
bottom line is it
work.
is costing you for the project.
Minimal, minimal, because they're already on payroll. All right, anything else? Anything else? All right, thank you, Jeremy, appreciate it. Thanks, Mike and Eric, for coming. Thanks all of you for your input, your questions, for coming and listening. And we'll meet on the 9th. All right, thank you. We just have a tiny bit more this
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go through some.
Bill,
The only thing that's not in there is structural plans, but everything else is in.
Your name is Chris.
As far as.
What is
I
the
think
name
Chris
of
is
the
right.
business?
Yeah, right. And
But
two
you'll get
supervision
the,
and the well.
yeah, that's all in.
Trying to keep a low profile.
And then the project manual is that thick with specs.
You were involved,
I don't know if you want to go through
No.
that.
The last-
But yeah, it's about that thick. I haven't heard.
I'm sure.
All right, thanks, man.
Thanks, Jeremy.
All right, we have a couple of things to catch up on. This is the Northwestern Energy recertification. We have a new attachment A, and you'll see mostly the changes are with the school. Here's the supporting documents, the May Fairs reports. These are from OPI, Office of Public Administration. And here's the county worksheet. County mills didn't change that much because it really is pretty minimal for the county. The effect was really going to be more on the schools, and they're the ones that drove the ship as far as asking for the recertification. The county just said, whatever you want to do, we'll support you. June is ready to input our numbers when we approve this and empower Doug to start printing tax bills this week, if he likes. Jonathan, are you done with those over there? Entertain a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thanks, Nick. Franklin, may second? All right. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the new amended attachment A. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. All right. Yep, and I'll take that to June as soon as we're done here, so she can work her magic. Thank you.
Or would you take that as well?
What's that?
Would you date that as well? The Schedule A?
Yeah.
Date.
Oh, thank you. I just said take. Yeah, I'll take it. Thanks, Ann. All right, so we talked a little bit, just disclaim, if you guys want to sign it, that's fine. I'm not comfortable with that, so I'll leave it in your hands. Just because it's a budget that's weak, that really needs some attention. It's $40 for a picture, an 8x10 picture. I just don't think that's a responsible expenditure. I wouldn't approve it for another department. So, if you guys want to, that's up to you. And then the other thing is we talked a little bit ago about eConnect, and we talked kind of at high level about it might not be a bad idea. I would like to go ahead and get together with them and have them come and visit us, and this is about our CD investments.
Good.
All right, so we'll go ahead and do that, hopefully next week. And, I think that's it. You guys have anything else for good of the order? Any further public comment, questions for the board? All right, at 2:37, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. Would you, get together with either her or her boss